Alrighty, so now we move on to the second of two picks today. So that is Cam Dantzler. He's 6'2", 188 pounds. At the combine, 30 and 5/8 inch arms, 9-inch hands. Ran a 4.64 40 at the combine, and had a 34.5-inch vertical jump. Now we'll come back to that 4.64 in a minute. His man cover skills, I think he has great reach and disruptive abilities at the catch point. Shows needed mobility to kind of flip his hips and carry receivers up the field, although I think he get loose at the top of the breaks and doesn't really have doesn't have the desired stickiness through the end of that route. Zone keys the quarterback's eyes and arm really well. Shows impact skills in zone coverage, especially in the flats, just to sink under throws working behind him. He'll peel off the initial landmark effectively and consistently jump into just action and breaking on the throws quite often. His feet can hop out of the stance in tight alignment coverage to buy himself room to diagnose just route releases. Typically does well to react, open and crowd the route, but his stride length will hinder sudden redirect if receivers can get him to take the bait at the line of scrimmage, which isn't all that great. With his ball skills, he's kind of misread some of the deeper opportunities and some other high point chances, but his break on the ball and just combative hands at the catch point are really, really good. However, he can't. So he does well to break the hands of receivers and pull at the football as he arrives to the actual pass itself. So he breaks up a lot of passes and really good ball skills. So as far as his flexibility can go, for length he's actually really flexible just to be able to adjust his frame and play without wasted movements. Has a lot of skill in just maximizing his length and with his torso and shoulder. So he can get busted with some high hips and just harder breaking routes, working back to the line of scrimmage and kind of just sag off the target. So we need to prevent that a little bit. He can accelerate. He will check all those boxes, and he will be able to play outside and run with receivers in coverage. There is some transitional lag when he kind of just looks to redirect and burst forward, but his flat-footed breaks show more spring and allow him just to work into contested targets from the off coverage. His defensive spacing, man cover range needs a little bit of improvement, although he is tall and long and, has notable strides there. There's really only so much polish you can add to this area, and he does have a lot of range in zone to crowd at the catch point because of his length and reach. When it just comes to competitive toughness, which is where the other corner really thrives in that we took in Jeff Gladney, this one doesn't really have all the functional strength, and he can get pushed around and is not always an impact defender on the edge against quick game or just outside runs. So he does show good scrap, and he's afforded the chances to press and just kind of do those things and be able to hunt the ball and the receiver. But his competitive toughness, I think, if you were to put it in a little bit of a nutshell here, it's not necessarily for lack of trying. I think it's just for lack of size and strength, which is why Zimmer probably likes him in the first place, because you see a lot of grit. In his run support, I don't think there's anything special here. I think he will take advantage of poor block attempts and is willing to stick his head kind of into the fire, but he's not going to really stack blocks with authority at the weight he was playing, and I don't think he's going to be a looming presence as some kind of tackler. And his actual tackling ability, you see him lay some bigger hits, but there is no consistency there, and he hasn't really gotten cleanly off of blocks, and doesn't really kind of step up and drop a shoulder onto ball carriers, but he does well on the blitzes to hunt the ball and search for strip opportunities. So we're going to go back to that 40 time that I mentioned, and it's a 4.64 at the Combine, but he went to some Baton Rouge Pro Day that there were a bunch of athletes at, Grant Delpit included, and he ran a 4.38. So that's really interesting because when you watch him play, you don't see 4.64. You see faster than 4.64, but you don't see 4.38 either. So that's a really interesting thing. He's probably somewhere in the middle. So keep that in mind. He also allegedly had a hamstring issue with the Combine, which is why he might have ran a little bit slower. But I would project him more as like a feisty outside zone corner right now with some man coverage upside. Zim has been known just to, give some of his rookies some time to develop as opposed to starting them right away. Most recently, we've seen this with Trey Waynes and Holton Hill, even Mackenzie Alexander, and this one could be another. So I really don't think that lack of size was due to that lack, though. Sorry, let me rephrase that. I don't think his lack of just competitiveness and that, I don't think it wasn't a will to want to do it. I don't think it was for lack of that. It wasn't for that lack of effort, but it was more for that lack of size. And I'm thinking, give him a year, put some weight on it. You might sign a veteran still, and perhaps it's all golden from there. I would like to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Like and subscribing, always helpful. Until next time, I bid y'all adieu.